Oh, yeah. Check this out. Scientific proof. Internationally renowned Mike Lindell presents scientific. This isn't even, we had absolute proof, and now we're having absolute interference, which is coming up. This is scientific proof, because the other stuff was, I guess, spiritual proof. It was just soul proof. Internationally renowned physicist absolutely proves 2020 election was biggest cybercrime in world history. A WVW broadcast network production. Executive producers Mike Lindell, Brandon House, and Mary Fanning, same people, and director Brandon House. These people are milking the shit out of Mike Lindell, and I'm for it. Medical scientific proof, and scientific proof, quit it, is ready for you. Scientific proof. Oh shit, I thought it was stuck, and it was because it was over. It was like, it got, all right.
Hello everyone, as you know, we've been filming a new documentary this week, and it's
not so much. I mean, you kind of been filming an interview show on your little weird set. It's not, this is not a documentary. It's not. I mean, maybe it will be. Maybe he's going to take us, maybe they're going to get up and walk out the doors and
it's going to come out in a week or so.
Oh, or so. It's right after Trump's healthcare plan.
But when I was interviewing everyone,
oh, so good. It was so much of this.
Wow. Dr. Douglas G. Frank here has more stuff than you could even put into a 10-hour documentary.
Yeah, and who wants to watch that shit? So he brought his Alienware laptop. I got my ceramic cup. No one will ever guess that we're actually in Minneapolis.
I like wood.
What I wanted to do was a separate one here. This is so important to our country.
Guys, this is so important. My hand gesture is supposed to let you know that just sit down and listen, okay? Just sit down and listen. Just sit down and listen.
I want to get this one out right away. So
so we couldn't wait. I couldn't wait.
We're gonna have an hour interview here with Dr. Frank, and welcome.
Dr. Frank.
I mean, what you showed me before, I want.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is gonna be it, guys. Absolute sciencey science stuff.
Everybody to see in this hour. I want to say how we met. It was like a divine appointment here.
Yeah, it was almost like, it was just magic. Tell us about the magic. You were in a bar, you were sipping a gin fizz, and he saddled up to the bar with his hat all awake and said, "You look mighty down, stranger. How about a hand job?" And then, before you knew it,
I actually met a gal that was running for Congress in Pennsylvania.
A gal?
I met her in D.C., a random
Yeah, just totally random. It wasn't at a crazy, lunatic, Trump-supporting gaggle. It was just like, I was at Starbucks. She was shopping for groceries. I walked out with an open container of peanut butter. She walks by eating a chocolate bar.
In January, and she said that she had won. And then all of a sudden, we woke up on November 4th and had lost.
And who else did he know that sounded like that? That's so weird.
And she knew that there was something terribly wrong. She basically,
with her campaign and her pitch, and she knew there was something terribly wrong with her candidacy.
Door to door, she went. She did her own investigation.
She went door to door. Did you vote for me? Excuse me. Excuse me, how many people in this house? Are there any children in this house that voted for my opponent? I don't believe it. Goodbye. Excuse me.
And she proved, herself. She goes, yes, it was cheated. But she didn't really know how.
She just went door to door in her district. Oh, fuck, here comes that lunatic again. Just tell her you voted for her. Maybe she'll go away.
And so she went out and got a hold of different people to help her with this. And one of them was Dr. Frank.
And she's still not in office.
And when I was doing this documentary, she said, well, you need to see what he has.
Yeah, he's great. He totally convinced me.
It was amazing. And
I was going door to door, and this guy.
Well, so let's get into it. What's your background? Tell everybody.
I'm a PhD scientist. I've been doing science for about 40 years, aggressively.
I've been a sciencing my whole life.
Got about 60 scientific publications.
Right.
Some of them are cover articles and invited articles because I happened to make a pretty good discovery once back in the early 90s. I left academics in 1996 and ever.
He left academics in 1996. He'd had enough with the academic world. He was sick of it. He left academics just 'cause.
Since then, I've been teaching at a special school
I've been rambling around the country, sciencing.
for extraordinarily gifted kids, as well as working on new inventions and
Right.
analyzing election data lately.
Right.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So very
So this is going to be about algorithms, I guess.
overqualified, everybody, but it does. But what you're going to see just speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. Yeah, don't talk, Mike. You'll ruin
I
it.
mean, for him to even dig in and get this and figure out the algorithms, and then to
How do you
have
even figure it out?
absolute proof. But we have over
No, that was the other show. This is absolute. What the fuck was this called again? I've forgotten now. Scientific proof. That was absolute proof. This is scientific proof, which we know, of course, is devoid of Jesus, so it can't be absolute.
here. What you're going to see
This is absolute algorithms.
when this is done. When I showed you in absolute proof, the first documentary we did with all the cyber attack on our country.
Yeah, the missile command demo that somebody showed you. Yeah.
Who did it? When they did it? Why they did it? We know the IP addresses, the IDs of the computers,
Yeah, I mean, that's all proven. Yeah, sure.
everything. Now you're going to see that this was nationwide, and
Oh my God. So Trump didn't even win the states that he says he won. That's
these two
amazing.
come together.
Uh-oh. I hope you have some Windex for your nice new desk.
And it is absolutely fits like a glove.
What the fuck is with this security cam shot? The House Brothers production is shit. I'm just saying. I don't know why we go to one shot on him, side shot of the other dude, but you've got this weird rafter angle bullshit going on.
So why don't we
It's like a craft store.
just get right into it? So what do you have?
I found where the algorithms that control
Hold on. What? Back up.
how many registrations and how many.
Wait. It won't jump back. God damn it. I hate when they don't allow you to play this. Is there an edit there?
Fits like a glove. So why don't we just get right into it?
Yeah.
So what do you have?
I found where the algorithms
Yep. Look at that. Just a shit edit. I found where the algorithms.
that control how many registrations and how many ballots you need in every county to control an election. That's what I figured.
So you figured out an algorithm that shows how many ballots and how many registrations you need to control an election. Okay.
Figured out.
Right.
And it's widespread. It's in every state that I've checked so far, and it's to magnificent part per million detail. So
Yeah, so it's this algorithm where they control the elections, and they just thought it up during the Trump years. And while Trump was running stuff, he had no idea that there was this algorithm that doesn't matter what voting machine you're using, or whether it's 100% mail-in and paper, or if whatever it's the same throughout to control the election. Even like if you want to control the elections to make red states red and control the election to make blue states blue, it's every state, and there are different groups and it's really about that the secretaries of state in all the states are just controlling the elections that way. How they get elected, I don't know. But
so I know it's not an accident.
Right.
It has to be done by an algorithm.
Right. It
okay, it has to be done by an algorithm. Let's go
cannot
for
be
it.
done by humans.
It could
No, of course not. Demons, clearly.
not be
I
done.
want everybody to know that.
Yes.
But
All right, no humans. Yeah?
what you're going to see is impossible to be done by humans. It had to be done by machines, i.e. computers.
Yeah. And obviously, Chupacabra.
And they had
Bigfoot.
to be online.
Absolutely, the whole time.
Yeah,
The whole time.
Splutely. Look at the edits in this shit.
You have to beforehand, during, and after.
Before,
And by the way, Mike gets two cameras. He gets his side shot, full shot with him, and he gets to be his close-up camera. This dickhead is giving us all right shoulder the entire show. I'm just mad because they call this bullshit a documentary.
Or during and after. In other words, you
Yes.
have to plan the attacks.
Yep.
You have to plan the algorithms.
Yep.
Sure.
Input them.
Yep.
Then it has to be online during.
Yep, it does.
And then afterwards to check your work. Yeah.
Well, and clean
Yeah. Yeah, clearly.
up the
And clean up the mess.
mistakes.
Clean up the mistakes.
Because computers are stupid. They can't do anything themselves. You have to
Right.
tell them everything. And what you tell them is a set of instructions.
Right.
That's called an algorithm. It's
No, it's called a program. Not everything operates on an algorithm.
just like a recipe.
Right.
It's exactly like a recipe.
A recipe
Okay,
is a set of
okay,
instructions.
right.
And so don't be afraid.
This is, of course, this recipe for chicken parmesan could not be done by humans. This is obviously a supercomputer came up with this, and of course, it tastes like the steak that came through Seth Brundle's transporter. But
Afraid of that word.
Right. Right.
The first thing you need to understand about the way elections are managed is they have what they call a registration database. This is for every precinct, every county in the country. They have one of these, and in each one, you've
Can
got.
anybody get this?
In most states, you can download these for free.
Okay.
But in some states, they're expensive. You have to
right,
download
right,
them.
right.
yeah, probably the cheating states.
But politicians use these all the time because
Right.
they tell them every person in the district,
Right.
and it also tells their voting
Well, yeah, but why would?
history. Is this a Republican? Is this a Democrat? Do they?
Yeah, but what good would that do you if the computer makes the decision? Where I want to know, the big scandal obviously here is why are people spending so much money on campaigns and advertisement when they just need to buy the algorithm software and it's magic?
Do they usually vote? Do they
Right,
not vote?
right.
Because why would you want to go knock on, if you're a Republican, why would you go knock on a Republican's door who you know is already going to vote for you anyway?
Right,
You're
right.
looking for the people that don't usually come out.
Right,
You want
right,
to go knock on those
right.
doors.
And then you send a robot to their house, or well, a computer does. No human could do this.
So why is this significant here?
Well, this
Yeah, why is it
is
significant?
significant because this shows you, I mean, if you have access to this, which basically
Everybody does.
everybody does, you notice that this person here votes a lot and they're a Republican. But this person hardly ever votes and only every once in a
This
while.
one down here hardly never voted.
Yes.
But he only voted once here. What's that?
This is the November 3rd election here, this last call.
The only time in his life he voted was right there.
Exactly. And there are a lot of those, too many of those this time.
You see that too many people voted in the last election.
Around.
Right.
But
So how long? So the registration database, dude's registered. Says he's registered. Says when he doesn't say when he got registered. Just says that he is registered and he registered for this election because people could mail in their votes. They didn't have to go someplace. Voter turnout was extraordinary. This is going to get fucking dumb so fast. Now, by the way, we'll see. Perhaps he's a genius, and he will overlay on top of this the registration database and turnout for the last two elections to compare it to. Oh, well, these people voted by mail and they were there in person. So on the other ones, and they always vote, but this time they voted by mail. So it lines up with the rise in mail-in voting. And this person always votes, hardly ever votes, but they voted in person because they only voted for Trump because they didn't like anybody else.
But I don't think that's an accident. I don't even think they're real.
Right.
Well, all right. Well, then, all right. I mean, I don't need any more. Do you guys? He doesn't even think they're real. So, I mean, they're in the real registration database. They really did vote, but he doesn't think they're real because algorithms.
Right.
And so when we were originally starting this work, we
went through a list of all the people that I don't believe exist. And I went knocking on doors.
actually went out and knocked on doors. After
To
we
find
had
out if a person like this was real.
Yes.
Were they real?
30%. We predicted, we went to 1,600 houses knocking on doors.
Right.
We trained a whole bunch of volunteers. It took about 4 days.
Right.
We predicted that we'd find about 30% of the houses we knocked on would have at least one phantom voter. What that means is it's
That 30% of households, random, not Democrats, not Republicans, but that 30% overall, Republican and Democrat, I guess. Did we drop out? What happened? Am I just getting hit by other stuff? There you go. It could be just my other computer. Is it, hopefully reloading. Connected to your star. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's working. Damn, I don't know what that was. You have to reload, sorry. Yikes. So they predicted that 30% of the people would have a phantom voter. So I'm guessing, by the way, that they didn't go to a random sampling and expect this. They went to all the ones they thought were fake.
It says on the roll that John Smith lives at this address
Right.
and that John Smith voted.
Right.
But then you go knock on the door and no John Smith lives
Right,
there.
right.
Okay, so wait a minute. That's a phantom voter.
So you were basically, when you,
So he doesn't live there, but he didn't re-register. Oh, Melissa, thank you so much. Oh my God. That's lovely.
this raised a flag.
Yep.
And then you said, well, I'm going to go out just to make sure I'm not going down a bad path. Let's find out if these people really exist or
Exactly.
not. Your theory, though, proved right. 30% did not exist.
It's 32.
Or 32%.
But we predicted.
We predicted that we would go to these houses, and we predicted these particular folks, and it would be exactly what we predicted, because I'm selling you a service.
30, we found
Okay.
32. So that's really good. So this is not just theoretical. We have-
So that made you go, I'm going all in. I'm going to look at this.
Absolutely,
Okay.
and absolutely. In every precinct, you can show too. Like for example, in this precinct, this is by age, and this is this is by age and how many people in this particular precinct. This just happens to be one from Ohio. You notice that this is the number of people that are registered by age, this
Right.
blue curve, and then this is the number of ballots you have by age. So if you needed some more ballots, if you needed to, because you wanted to swing one of the down ballot elections, like there's some judge you want to win, you just have to go along and find out, well, gee, I've got a few more voters here. Let's go look and see who never votes, and let's print a ballot for them and turn it in.
Right.
It's a real
What? No, you wouldn't. You'd have to motivate an entire group of voters. What do you mean print more? What the fuck are you talking about? And it's not 32% of 1,400 households that he went to had phantom voters in them. Honest to God, like, and by the way, we're not seeing this. He's telling us this. Remember, he's telling this, and he's telling this to Mike Lindell, and he's telling this that he went to, that 32% of the households they went to out of 1,400, Republican and Democrat, had quote unquote phantom voters, as if all 1,400 in their volunteers, and by the way, they paid volunteers to carry out this thing, so it's not like they went there and went, I didn't see anybody. Check.
the really simple thing. So that's an algorithm.
Right.
Find the
No, it isn't.
people that never vote, print ballots, turn the ballots.
right.
No, it is. That's a crime. That's not an algorithm. Find some people that never vote and go convince them to vote. That's what do you think door knocking is for? It's called get out the vote for a reason. If they didn't vote, they didn't vote.
They don't even know. So the only way to know an election
Is to canvass after an election and cure ballots, and they do, and they've never found, 4 people in a district, much less 32 fucking %. Are you out of your goddamn nationwide? What are you talking about?
whether it's valid or not is to actually confirm every mail-in ballot. You have to go say, did Mr. John Smith?
No, it isn't. That's ridiculous. You can call it by percentage. You're not going to get you're not going to get 32% of people going, I never voted. What happened?
Does he
Right,
really live
right.
here? Did he really print that ballot?
Right.
And
So that
No, he didn't print a ballot. He received it in the mail, dummy.
So what is all these matching and stuff?
Yeah.
You showed me before. We had a chart where they
Yes.
where they're taking the data. Can you show us what the machines did?
the fun thing about this, by the way, too, Mike, that I just love about it is you've done some really excellent forensic work on
Yeah, it's fantastic.
the one side of the
Talking about Absolute Proof, the documentary we did, where we have the spyware and these American heroes that were whistleblowers and stuff that were there and that worked for the government and stuff. That former
And stuff.
president that were there, and they were
Yeah.
taking these footprints, these cyber footprints,
right.
the night of the election.
Yeah, it's amazing. Except we were 100% wrong, but
Actually, from November 1st to the 5th.
yeah, whenever.
And we have all the IP
know.
addresses, the IDs of the computers. We have all this of
No, you don't.
the attacks.
No, he doesn't. I mean, we've been through this before. If you don't believe me, go watch the absolute spoof thing that I did.
When I heard what you're going to see here,
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
so amazing.
Yeah, think about this for a second. 30% of the homes in the entire United States have a phantom voter in them. And by the way, across party, apparently, so 15% of Democratic voters are fake, and 15% of Republican voters are fake. Now, in all the cases that we found where people have tried to vote illegally in another district or whatever, that have actually been, charges filed against them, all of them Republicans so far. But in this election, anyways. But all right.
Amazing.
I was on the edge of my seat watching that.
Right.
Yeah, me too. I had to poo as well after a while.
That's the.
And you had no idea your work was done, and you're going, wow, now you knew who did it, right?
Yeah, I know. Just like,
Wow.
Exactly. I can see. But the thing about it is, you're showing the incursions into the machines.
Right.
But what do they do when they're there? They have to
Yeah.
know what to do.
Right.
yeah, they don't know what to do. They're just wandering around. They're a bunch of Chinese hackers. They can't even figure out what to do.
That's what the algorithms.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so that's what Venezuela is for.
Tell-
let's
them
see.
what to
Let's
do.
let's see what you got.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Thing here, anybody can do.
Anybody
you
can
can
do it.
download
You can do it. I can do it. This has suddenly turned into an infomercial for spray on hair.
it and confirm.
Okay.
So
Yeah, just load, confirm, masturbate, and split.
this that's part of. So anyway, so here's the
Yeah.
population. This is downloaded from the census.
Apparently, everyone died somewhere about 2 years ago. The population of Hamilton County has dropped off, and no one lives there anymore.
You see the millennials
Yeah, there's a bunch of people, and then the old people all died.
and the baby boomers. And the
Right.
people
What
pass
this
away.
is, it's just a graph of Hamilton County.
Yep.
And the age group
Right. Hamilton County, Trump won it.
of each one on
Yep.
the graph. So there's 10,000 or 11,000 people around 60 years of age.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
No. Per 100,000.
This curve, this black curve, is from that voter database that I showed you a minute ago. This is how many people of each age are registered.
Okay. Now, that's impossible, correct?
Yes, and the look on your
Everybody's registered. And then there's a little line here where there's more people
No, everybody isn't registered.
registered than there are population.
How interesting.
Yeah.
And,
So, no. Red flag number one. I understand some of you aren't familiar with Occam's rubber mallet, but it could very well be that this dickhead is using information from the primary and overlaying it with the election itself. Oh, Melissa, thank you so much. And is overlaying it with, we're going to get that new computer, by God, before you know it. That their birthday happened. Some of these folks, their birthday happened after the primary and between the actual election.
and a little bit over here, too.
Right.
But still, when I've shown this to political experts,
Right.
they're all saying, Doug, no, it can't be that much. There's supposed to be about 80%. No, this is like 95%.
95,
So-
right.
So that's
Okay.
the first.
That
that's
raised
the,
a flag with
Well, no, because Hamilton County. Okay, hold on. Let's just. I mean, I don't want to humor this asshole, but let's see. Hamilton County. Voter registration. Let's see. Voter registration guide, Hamilton County, hamilton.gov. Let's see. This would be Hamilton, Tennessee. Beg your pardon. This is Ohio. Hamilton County, Ohio. Beg your pardon. Let's see. Check your registration status. Voter registration facts. Let's see. Registered voter lists. Registered voter lists are available in two formats: CSV, comma delimited value text, and PDF, portable document format. Voter history from countywide elections. Is there's any, you just contact us and they'll send you this CSV. Maybe open a spreadsheet or database application, PDF. Contest. Note this page will be updated Monday through Friday before 9 a.m. Let's see. Search voter list. Step 1, full export file by district, by precinct. Step 2, voter party affiliation. All parties. Name order, walking list, name order, precinct, name order, precinct, walking list, and name order. So you can basically walk all of these. Let's see. So that's for the media tools. If you want these kind of things, you can call them. Click here to view a legend of codes used. Let's see. Then there's the voting history legend. PNON. Voted. Let's see. Voted at the polls. No declaration or party affiliation. ANON. Clearly a Q. Voted absentee, no declaration of party affiliation. P-Dem voted at the polls, voted Democratic. A-Dem voted absentee, voted Democratic. R-Rep voted at the polls, voted Republican ballot. Okay, let's see. Let's look up. Let's see if we can find this real quick. Let's see. Per capita voter registration, Hamilton County, Ohio. Voter registration information update form, voter turnout, UC. Let's see, the news record. November 4th, 2020. Throughout the 2020 general election was strong countrywide. Here we go. Voter turnout at UC lowest in Hamilton County. Strong support for Democrats. Though turnout for the 2020 general election was strong countrywide, less than half of registered voters living or near the University of Cincinnati's UC main campus cast their ballot. Of the 6,123 registered voters in Cincinnati's 12th ward, which encompasses the university as well as parts of Coralville and CUF, only 42% cast their ballot. According to unofficial data from the Hamilton County Board of Elections, this is the same data this asshole's using, just so you know, 42% in this one particular district in the 12th ward cast their ballot. By comparison, voter turnout at the 12th ward was 57% during the 2016 election. The ward's Precinct B, which encompasses main campus, saw the lowest percentage of voter turnout in Hamilton County, which was only 15% of registered voters casting their ballot. Langsam Library served as the precinct's polling place, but only half of voters were seen entering the building when the polls opened. It is unclear why turnout was so low. In September, student leaders called on the state officials to address a discrepancy in the state's online voter registration system that prevents students from registering online with their campus address. The discrepancy, it turns out, was a result of voter registration system being linked to the Bureau of Motor Vehicle database. Only students with a valid Ohio driver's license could register to vote online. David Niven, the Pink Panther, if you'll recall, a political science professor at UC, previously told the news record that this could limit student participation in the election, as many young people do not have a driver's license. Research shows that approximately 52% of 16 to 19-year-olds are licensed driver, the lowest percentage of any age group. While turnout at the polls, you wonder why they want voter ID. While turnout at the polls may have been less than enthusiastic, Democrats received overwhelming support from the voters in the 12th ward, unsurprising, given the Democratic candidates are often favored in college campus precincts during general elections. But Republicans seized the day statewide. President Donald Trump took the state with 53% of the vote, and Republican Congressman Steve Chabot retained his seat in Ohio's 1st congressional district, that would be where they are in Hamilton County, with a 7-point lead, despite a strong challenge from Democrat Kate Schroeder. Despite a strong challenge, like the polls were showing she was doing very well, but Steve Chabot won by 7 points. Local races, Democratic candidates had the upper hand. Hamilton County Clerk of Courts Aftab Puraval successfully fended off a challenge from Republican Alex Glandorf. But, obviously Hamilton County, Ohio is completely fucked. Red flag. Look at all these people registered. Now, obviously, turnout, he'll show us a graph that shows us that the turnout was lower than expected in some of these areas. Thank you, Melissa.
With you.
That's the first red flag. Okay,
That's a huge red flag.
That doesn't make
This
sense.
doesn't make any sense. Why would 95% of the people who are old enough to vote and able to vote registered to vote in a previous swing state with some of the heaviest get out the vote in the largest turnout election in the country? So this is registrations, not people voting and not actually showing up. So people are registered. So the registration drives in Hamilton County, both Republican and Democrat and Independent, have been pretty successful, 95%. And these, by the way, these aren't, look at the numbers, by the way, for 16 to 19-year-olds as far as registration goes. Like 18 to 19, big drop right there. And then it spikes after that because once you're registered, you don't have to re-register every goddamn year. And then here's a bunch of older folks that aren't registered, bunch of local Ohio rednecks that don't participate because they think QAnon's in the system, and so they're going to show up and be all mad and say, I was registered, but I'm not registered no more. And then, of course, all the old people are dead. So,
Sense. The red
but okay.
curve here, from
Right.
the same voter database, these are the people who turned in ballots.
Right.
Okay, and notice I didn't call them real voters because I don't think a lot of them are.
Right.
So far, this guy doesn't think there's real voters. He sent out his folks to 1,400 houses. He believes 32% of those houses have fake voters in them, even though arguably, why would you need fake voters if that's the number of people who turned in well below the registration number. This is exactly the turnout that they were saying, and people were talking about on the day.
Right, okay. Right. Don't think they aren't. You know they aren't.
I know.
No, he doesn't know they aren't. He's still talking out of his ass. This guy is basically looking for confirmation bias and stuff and seeing it where it ain't. This is amazingly. I was expecting more. I don't know why.
They aren't. Now I. Because if I'm a scientist going into it, I didn't know, but now I know.
Right, right.
Why? That is almost exactly how shit works. Like the variability in age. There's people coming in that are, that were a certain age and their birthday changes over the time, but like the exact lineup of this. And then the match of the voters, older voters tend to vote, so they're much closer. Old people vote. They always turn their ballot in. It's much closer, still below the number of registered voters, but they're still there. And then it zeroes out at next to nothing.
Right, let's make that clear. There's no.
Again, what's clear is you guys are talking out of your ass. This isn't weird at all. Like I was expecting, look at all these mail-in votes. The red line. If the red line was higher than the other two, wasn't that what you were expecting? I can't be the only person who was expecting him to show these are the ballots that turned in, and that the red line would be higher than that.
There's no room. This is 100%.
Yes.
It's 100% bullshit. What are you talking about? I have to say, I'm more underwhelmed than I thought I would be.
Machines did this.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, they didn't. Okay. Why am I shocked? I really want to see Jesse Ventura. Now, fantastic. The one thing I don't understand.
So what you have here,
yes,
is a bunch of people register, but turnout was lower in Ohio. And Trump ran away with it, so a bunch of votes weren't counted.
you showed me before, this notice that the ballots turned in match the exact curves. The odds of that are impossible.
No, they're not. And they don't match exactly. They match vaguely with it. Because on the registration versus showing up to vote, look at the spike. They don't match at all. Look at the first tit, you dumbass. Look at this shit right here. Look at the spike of this thing. Look at how high it goes and how low it goes. And then look at how rounded this is. I'm enjoying this a little too much. And then, of course it lines up with the number of people voting and in a certain age range. And then it lines up exactly when older people always register, always vote. Why is this weird? What do they fucking think they're seeing? This is nuts. This is frigging bananas.
Oh, yes.
And then look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
I want everyone to look at this because this is going to come up. That little jump and that little flip.
Yeah.
It's the exact same pattern. All of a sudden, everyone, exact percentage.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Don't skip past that, Mike Pillow. Don't you fucking dare. Look at this bullshit. Look how high and peaky that is, and look how rounded this one is. Don't tell me it's exactly. Look, you're a science dude, Mike Lindell. Your little, I'm crushing his head. Finger, in the middle of it, regular voters who regularly vote every single friggin' time as far as registration, it's going to match almost exactly. But this is nowhere near this algorithm of friggin' magic. And Dan's a Zoltan member. That's awesome. All right. So what?
Yes.
Gets turned in and votes. Of every age group.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
No, it isn't. It's exactly expected. This is normal sociology. And by the way, this is the thing that sticks out. This is the thing you have to remember. That Mike Lindell wants this to be a certain way. That asshole is thinking that algorithms are based on a scientific principle. These are human beings. Human beings rise, fall, and so you need to have a sociologist come on and talk about this stuff, because the number of people who register, because there's a huge drive to get everybody registered, or they have a motor voter bill where you get, in the last few years where you go in and you get your new license and it says you want to get registered to vote, and say sure. That has resulted, especially in a state like Ohio and Florida, where they used to be those were the linchpins. Both parties needed voters in Ohio and Florida. So since Obama, especially, the number of people registered in Ohio, Republican and Democrat, has maxed out effectively. They are all in on these states because the idea was you win Ohio and Florida, you win the election. Not true anymore, because other states, you let off pressure in other areas, and you realize you have to give attention to voters because they're very ego-minded. But that's what that spike shows you. That if you if you take your foot off the gas, you may have registered them, but they aren't showing up to vote. And it is not exactly lined up. It's even goofy to assume so. This is worse than I thought.
Now with this, was that another flag?
Yes. If I just take the black curve and multiply it.
Uh-oh. The black curve. That doesn't sound good.
By 86%.
Right.
That helps you to see that those little bumps and wiggles are just absolutely reproduced.
Right.
It's just
You what? Don't jump past some of the math, you asshole. Did you see that edit?
Everyone, exact percentage
Yes.
gets turned in and votes. I mean, of every age group.
It's ridiculous.
Right. Now with this, was that another flag?
Yes. If I just take the black curve.
Look at that edit. What did they cut out of there? Yeah, that was Kids in the Hall reference, it was.
And multiply it by 86%.
Right.
Multiply it by 86%. For what reason?
That helps you to see that those little bumps and wiggles are just absolutely reproduced.
Right.
It's just the odd.
Because, yes, as you get older, old people who are registered actually vote. That's why they're the most locked-in voter group. That's why, as much as you want to get the kids to vote, and all the kids, we got to get the young people to vote, and the young vote is so important and all that shit, it's fickle as fuck. But old people, once they hit like 58 to 65, you're a voter. Nobody in that age group and higher doesn't miss a chance to vote. They're the most reliable voting bloc. That's why things move slowly. That's why a lot of bills have to appeal to older people. That's why more conservative ideals have actually gotten through. And it takes a lot more convincing to move normal things where the society at large is for something like gay marriage or something like that. But it takes longer to get it through because the mass of voters traditionally are old fucks.
Odds of that happening in one county are ridiculously small.
No, they aren't. That's exactly what you would expect. The number of people by age, the number of registrations match fairly closely or locked in to that group, and then the actual turnout for voters is way less.
Right.
It's indicative of the get out the vote campaigns over the last few years and making it easier for people to register.
But guess what? They happen in every county.
Every county.
And it's the, and
Did you do every county in Ohio?
all 88.
All 88 counties.
Yeah.
And they were all the same pattern.
And I'll show you that pattern because it's even better than this. I call it the key.
Well, if it's better than this, then it means it's different in each one, and some counties are more reflective of their voter database than others. Let me guess, the ones that have fewer fucking people in them.
So if you think of it, you can think of that 86% number as the key that converts the
Registration key equals 86%. Why? Where is the premise that 86% is the expected number? Why is he choosing 86% in this shit?
registrations into the ballots.
Right.
And so that's flag number 2.
Right.
No, it isn't. You have not established why 86% is supposed to be a number we are supposed to take seriously. You are plugging a number in to prove your hypothesis in reverse.
Flag
Right.
number 2, that those are similar. Now, the thing is we don't have to just use one number. We could use a different proportion for every age.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Did they do that?
In other words, if you use a different proportion for every age,
Right.
then you just have a little more sophisticated key.
Yeah, you just need to manipulate the numbers a little more.
When I show you that key, you're going to be surprised.
Okay.
Oh, it's crazy.
And because that's also some breadcrumbs as to the algorithm. If I use those proportions, then this is the ballots on top of the registrations.
But you set those proportions yourself
Yes.
just to see if there was.
You just set those proportions yourself. You created a different number for each age group to bring those numbers together. And they still don't fucking match. Hey, I'm an old, like, 67. That doesn't count, Diana. You're 67 years young.
It was duplicated across the state.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for listening.
And that's why it doesn't quite agree here. Because actually, I'm using one set of proportions for the entire state.
Right.
I'm never changing
You're
them.
not changing it.
Right. And it changes rural to urban.
No, and it's, think of it. It's 18 to 100, so that's 82 proportions. You put it in one time. You
So what
never
you're
change it
saying
again.
is, what you're saying across the state, every single 70-year-old across the state was exactly this percentage.
Yes.
Exactly.
Every single county.
Every single age group was exactly like X percent of each age group voted.
Which, of course, is preposterous.
It's
Right. It is preposterous. Push in on your chart and show us that there's actually variability and that you're using thousands to create a giant generalized blurry number.
preposterous.
It's preposterous.
Right. Okay.
This is the shape of that key.
Okay.
This is the key that converts registrations to ballots. In other words, the proportion.
In other words, I made a single digit. Oh, nice. Motang. In other words, this asshole dreamed up a number for here, a number for here. He made a curve that backdates all of his age group things into this ballpark.
Of 20.
By the way, 1.2, 1.4, DG Frank 2, 15, 20, 21. This is age, and then this is... I can't read what he's using here, but this are we going by per 100,000? Something like that?
20-year-olds,
Right.
or the proportion of 30-year-olds, or the proportion of 40. And you look at that curve. That's a really smooth curve.
Right.
In fact, mathematicians recognize this. It's called a sixth-order polynomial. The beautiful thing about a sixth-order polynomial is you only
Is you can create one.
need 6 numbers. So
You only need 6 numbers to create this generalized number.
now I don't need
Wait.
82 numbers anymore.
Right.
No.
I just need 6 numbers and a turnout number, which would be a 7th number.
Right.
Oh, okay, so you don't need a 6th number. So it's not, so you modified the data. God damn, this is dumb.